My dear friends in the Lord, a blessed day. This is Father June Limbaga, and welcome to Encounter. So long as we live, we are immersed in the tears of life. Sometimes the blows of life could leave us with a pain that is not only beyond words, but also even too deep for tears. We have wept for the loss of our loved ones in death. We have cried for the brokenness of our families. We have grieved over failed relationships and aspirations. Why do we lose the ones we love? Why do the ones we love hurt us to the very core? Why do we fail even with our best efforts? When our suffering pierces us to the very depth of our being, we find ourselves asking, Lord, where are you? In the silence of the bursting tears of Mary Magdalene, Jesus encountered her. And that even if at first she did not know it was Jesus, the truth remains that Christ, in our most difficult times, never fails to draw himself nearer to us, closer to us, in the most intimate, personal, and loving way. There are those who say, enough of those tears. There are even those who say, you should cry no longer. I mean, what the world needs now is positivity. Yet how can we be positive without embracing suffering? Positivity is not to escape from the wounds of life, but to embrace this. We embrace whatever suffering there is, and weep as much as our heart could take, so that the bursting tears from our pained hearts would allow us to see the nearness of God and the truth of His love. There is no pain, there is no brokenness, there is no failure, there is no sickness, there is no death that can ever separate us from the love of God. It is Christ alone who can bring us from the darkness and pain of where we are towards the light and healing where He wants us to be. When we embrace our cross in life, we surrender ourselves to the embrace of God. My first parish assignment was in a small community in the boondocks of Taiwan. One day, our rather quiet environment was deeply disturbed and troubled when a young man, after bringing his mother to the farm, upon returning home was ambushed and was murdered with 8 counts of stab wounds, with a violent and merciless hit on his head, exposing even parts of his brain. He was the first child after his parents waited for 8 years. So imagine the depth of their pain. It was already late in the afternoon when the father came home and knew about what happened, bursting with so much anger, with so much disappointment. He was rushing to go out of the house with a knife, willing to take revenge. And his wife was holding him, pleading for him to stay. And in the midst of all this happening, the church bells of our small church in the parish were ringing. And then while pleading him to stay, the wife begged, "Let's go to church. Let's go to church." When I saw them at the church when the Mass started, I didn't have words to say. We continued with our Mass, and I saw the parents weeping in deep, agonizing sobs. But what I will never forget, during the Lord's Prayer, while weeping in tears, the husband reached out to the hand of his wife. And even as they cried, they sang Amahan Namin. While in tears, they were calling God our Father. This is another episode of Encounter. Always remember, God loves you just because.